video was requested by one of my subscribers at Stay Connected EV. So give him a shout out. It's not going to, okay. Give him a shout out. That's him. Follow him, subscribe, and see if we can grow this community. But this is the explanation. So thank you for the great question, and hopefully this was a great answered all your questions. Until then, subscribe, like, and share. All right, so we're gonna shoot a video for your ePro SS connection for your brake light tail light, right? This is your lever, right? Inside you have the oil for your hydraulic oil brake, right? Then inside you have your spring, okay, and you also have your wire and your sensor caliper, right? So I'm gonna go to the bike, I'm gonna show it to you. All right, so this is what we're talking about. Lever, your mineral oil tank, and there's your sensor, right? You take that sensor out. Well, this is not the sensor. This is, don't touch that. This is for your oil brakes, right? Sensors right underneath that. This is your sensor right here. That's a sensor. So inside over here, sensor goes this way, and then over here you have a spring. So you have a sensor screw in. There's a stop nut so it doesn't come out, doesn't unscrew itself, right? And there's a sensor device and a spring. There's a magnet at the end, right? So if this is too far out, your brakes are not going to work. If it's too far in, your brake light is always going to stay on, okay? So that's what we are talking about. Now this wire travels inside, goes through ignition. Now you can use this wire, this sensor, you just got to cut the end of it and hardwire it to a tail light, all right? All right, so going back to the drawing, right? That is your wire from the sensor, right? Level, this is the level to squeeze, right? Like a handle to activate your brakes, and there's your wires, right? So this device, this sensor comes with two wires. I believe it's blue and red. Now, like I was told by my good friend Tony, do not think of this as positive and negative. Think of this as the switch on and off, right? Kind of like a breaker, right? So then you need to have, okay, one wire. This is your 12-volt battery. You want to do that on a 12-volt battery, not on your original system, right? This is your negative. This is your positive, right? Okay. So we have to get the power, so-called, not necessarily a power. Don't think of it like that. But we have to make a open and closed circle or circuit, right? So we are going to go with the positive, right? So we're going to take, we said it was blue. It was blue and gray or green. Let's have a gray. Okay, gray wire, right? So was it red? It was red. I'm sorry. You're right. It was red. I remember in my video. Right, red. Okay. So remember, red doesn't have to go to red, but we still have to get the power somewhere, right? So we're gonna run the red to positive, right? Just to have a flow, of current, right? So when you have your tail light, this is in case my tail light, right? You have positive, negative, right? Positive, negative, right? Then you have your brake light, right? Then you have your daytime light, right? Then you have your left turn and a right turn, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 wires, right? So what I did was the positive, the negative, I connected to a battery, right? So your positive will go to positive 12. Your negative would go to your negative 12, right? So these two wires are done, right? Now, in order to activate this, right, this is left signal, right signal, right? Daytime, daytime running light, right? And this is your brake, right? So now, excuse me, what happens is this, okay, wire, you're going to connect with blue, okay? So remember, you have your original positive, okay, going to the battery from the tail light, right, or brake light, but you also have your sensor going to red. Now, your minus, which is your blue, your negative. Don't think about negative, but think about it as a current flow. Okay, is going to the brake. So you already have delivered power or positive to your brake light, right? So now your positive negative is connected to 12 volts, right? And your brake light is connected to a positive, and your wire from the sensor is connected to your brake light, right? So daytime running lights, the way I did it, right? My left signal, my right signal, okay, is connected together, right? And now what happens is when this switch is used differently, it doesn't disengage the power. What it does, when I squeeze the level, it causes the so-called switch to go this way. Switch, right? So this is on position, this is off position. When this wire, right? When this wire doesn't have any flow, she's in off position. The minute I squeeze the level, she's going to short out, and she's going to be in off position, activating the brake light, right? Because my daytime and my left signal, my right signal is always on. So that's cool. But then what happens is I want to make sure that my brake light goes off or on when I squeeze the level, right? So again, your brake light goes to blue, right? And now we need to put that power. So when this cylinder touches inside because you squeezed it, it causes the current to flow, right? And activate the light. We already have continuous power, 12 volts. Okay, now when you release, right, this cylinder goes back, doesn't touch the magnet, and now the light goes off. So that's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so in this case, I'm running my daytime light. I'm running my left signal and right signal, right? The second time, the way I rewired it was that I had my daytime running light, okay, only, and every time I squeezed the level, I had my brake light go off with my left signal and my right signal, so it's brighter, more visible to drivers. Okay, I gotta open the door for my dog. Hold on. So you can rewire this whichever you want. If you want only your brake light, right, to go off, your daytime running light is always going to be on, right, when you put the ignition. So if you want not to run your left signal and your right signal because you're going to use it, then you won't attach these, okay? You would attach your brake light, and that's about it. Daytime running light are connected to 12. Now your brake light only, okay, it's attached to the sensor. Your left and right signal, you leave it. You get what's called the LED flasher. So what it does, it flashes 60 times a minute, right? So it goes on, off, on, off, on, off, and it's a fuse. So there's a positive, usually a negative, and there is a dial in how fast you want it to flash, right? So if you take your signal wire, this signal wire, you're gonna go inside, same wire, gonna come outside, and then you're gonna put your signal light connection here, and here you're gonna get your 12 volt battery. Okay, that's how you do it. So this wire, we go to your positive 12, and then we'll continue go inside, right? Then we'll go through a relay, and then it will come out to a signal light. So when you have that, you also need a switch so you can activate it. So once the power goes into from the switch, it will start blinking. That's what it does. That's what a blinker does. It just blinks. That's a little bit more advanced, a little more wires. I really don't care for it, but it's easy to do in case you want to run it that way. So again, if you leave the left and right alone, you're only going to have a daytime running light all the time, and you're going to have your brake light only activated with the level, the cylinder, the spring, and your magnet. Okay, so it's not hard. Just think of it as you have a U, and don't think about it as positive, negative. Think about it as a current. We're gonna put current as positive, okay, and over here as positive, right? And just like a switch, okay, just like a switch, you have a wire coming over here, right? Okay, so think about this: when you squeeze the switch, right, this switch goes to the right, making a connection that sends a flow of current, right? Now, when you don't squeeze it, it stays empty. It doesn't move. So the minute you squeeze it, it goes to the right. Okay, you close the U. When you don't squeeze it, the U is open, just like a light switch. A light switch, right? It's on, off, on, off. My different lights. All right, it's very simple. All right, it's the same concept with this. It's just what you're doing is you're squeezing this with the level right over here, this level. You squeeze it, you make a connection. This is your switch, a connection on and off. Okay, you don't touch it, it's fine. It's not working. The way it's currently set right now is connected to a controller. So when you squeeze this level, this makes the connection with the magnet and tells the motor to stop spinning. That's all it does. We are doing this differently where we squeeze and we make the tail light go off. So hopefully that explains most of it a lot. If anybody has comment and questions down below, make sure you subscribe, you comment, and you ask any questions. I got to check one more thing. So stay connected EVs. Hopefully this video explains to you thoroughly how it's supposed to be connected. You can use the same sensor that it is being used at ePro. Just gotta cut the end of it, the connection, and pretty much you don't need any connection. You just need two wires. And again, do not think of it as a positive, negative, or positive. Just think of it as a current and a flow. Hopefully that explains everything. If not, you can ask another question. I'll try to go to a different version of detailing how, what, and where. It's not really complicated, and just again, the level is as a switch that breaks and opens the circle of current, right? It's a signal. Think of it as a signal. So forget about plus, minus, positive, negative. Just think of it as traveling signal or traveling audio. When you squeeze, the audio pretty much goes off, and when you release the level, there's no signal, there's no audio going through. That's how it's being activated. If you do want to connect the left signal, right signal, all you have to do is just connect all the wires together and send the current to it, so it's pretty much activated when you squeeze the level. All right, so until then, everybody give them a shout out. Great question. I hopefully did a great answer. I hopefully did a satisfying job explaining how, when, and where, and hopefully you get it done and get it fixed. Till then, later.